Truth endearment, free scaredy. Rather MK Ultra Cage illusion parrots. Whilst anonymous CIA operatives are petting mockingbirds. Theosophy lurch, diagnose, surpass, undercover agnostic. Given ecstasy at Bad Boys to Martin Lawrence, nicely caught off guard again. Money stack, ball and prestige, taller phantasm of
All right. Background story first on Dry Spell Gospel. Truthfully, Dry Spell Gospel was I can't remember if it was a song or if it was like how it is now, like a title for a project. But it's something that came out into my mind or thought process to even bring about, I guess, years ago. Like this had to be like 2010, 2011, 2012, in that era. Um, and of course, I just left it alone. I didn't touch on it because I guess anything at that time didn't really feel like it was for that. But I never forgot it. And what does it mean to me? I would say what it means to me is it's the first. It's the first one that debuted. So anything that's the first, you would hold it close. It's kind of like the the ancient like the fossilized Genesis, or the way, like the thing that started it, and it'll have its place there. So in essence, it definitely means a lot. I don't want to say that, just, I don't want to say that to make it sound cliche. I just want to kind of give it a little more depth, but yeah, it definitely means a lot. And it was fun making it, for sure. I have a ghostwriter. Nah, I'm just playing. Nah, that'd be terrible. Nah, but so when I was younger, uh, like 10, because I actually started writing at 10, but I was writing poetry and stuff like that. And I still, like, if you listen to it, it still has the poetic like elements in there, but more things is added. Um, so I was 10 years old writing poetry, and I believe it was an exercise that the class was doing. I just, some reason, just kept it going. It was poetry and stories too. Let me not forget stories. It just always stuck out, like using imagination and stuff. So but now just the idea of words sounding like two different words, like cat and rat, those rhyming, that those that that kind of, like, I love the phonetic and the genius of it, or the ideal of it, that you can just, what I mean, have things repeatedly have a sound wherever it's at. The more advanced you get with the writing of it, obviously there's more, expressive sounds that you hear. That's the rhymes. I'm just talking about, like, when you first hear it. So when I first heard it, I was just like, wow, that's very interesting. So but now, when we move into, at 12 years old, is the age I discovered hip hop, which was a Nas song. I gave you power. That's a whole other combo, but that's what I heard, because my homeboy, which is still my homeboy still to this day, actually, but he had presented me that, and it was on. This is during the CD era, so this was on the CD and stuff. And I heard it, and, like, what stood out for me was the fact that you can, you know, rhyme on music. So it was one thing for just being able to do it as, poets would do it. 9 times out of 10, there's not really no music behind. It's just they had to become the instrument, right? But now with this, you have something that makes it a little more interesting on how could you essentially be decorative in many different aspects. So I'm still developing, but first thing I thought to myself is that, and oh, I can do this too, actually, because, and this is me thinking at that age, I can do this too, because um I also think in this form. I just didn't know this existed. So I'm like, okay, so this is hip hop for me. This is hip hop, or what rap is. And I always thought to myself, just to add on, I wonder what I would have thought rap was if it was a different song that was presented to me. I'm not really sure, because that song. had an impression on me. So as far as like, I'm always aiming for it to be like some sort of like, let's say someone hears me for the first time and they get that same effect. So that's how I'm always thinking of it. Because let's say may have heard the song that's, I don't want to give no examples on, but I'm just saying something that we all know that's like, more dumbed down than if that's not a song I give you power. That any example anybody can think of, I wonder what I would that had just made me say, oh, that's what it is. I'm not sure, but I'm glad that it played out that way.
Wage hysteria, fractal at least, decent exposure, non-believing, sojourn atonement,
So when Kiza sends me the beats, I don't have anything in mind as far as like anything that like a concept or like a theme or idea, except for this one pack that he did send me, which me and him so far is this mystique build that we searched out. I would say unintentionally and intentionally, because the way he makes his beats, you already tell that he's searching for something, for mystique. So am I when I'm rapping. Um, so that's I don't want to ruin. I don't want to ruin that surprise. There's another route that we can go, but as far as everything else, I trust what he sends, and I like the idea of, okay, let me hear the beat, right, and then and now some beats I already have, like, as soon as when I hear them, they tell me right away, and then some, I may have to like sit back and say, okay, let me put this to the side, work on something else, and then when I re-listen to it again, that's when it's revealed to me, like, oh, okay, now I see exactly what maybe I might have missed, or things of that nature. But as far as the writing process goes for them, so I write every day, but not full songs every day. Not with the search I have now. But there was a time when I was just writing imaginary songs. So it was just for the sake of just having the motor skills keep running, be able to write. And just imagining these songs being put together as a project. So just always being in your own head. And so that was one exercise. I don't really do that anymore per se, because I'm happy to be able to like go do stuff and listen to now and create. But prior to that, that's what I was doing. So now, even with that exercise, I can do those, and sometimes I can, whatever the case may be, if I need to break down certain songs, and because a lot of them get Frankenstein too. I may take bits and pieces here and there. Since I'm always just writing, because it's abstract, so and I'm able to just weave in certain things that'll make sense with it for the concept. Sometimes I like to be surprising on a beat a little bit, and because the main thing I'm always going, the main, I guess, route that I try to take is when I listen, I try to say to myself, um, I want to go left, as far as like for the listener to go, okay, I wouldn't have expect to, or even the artist, but artists have different ears than a regular listener, right? But at the end of the day, still, if I can get the same result for both of them the same, I would have never expected it for him to go that way, that left, or this out of being out of the box, and then building that reputable means of, I know when I listen to an anti-fable song, there's is you're not even you don't know what he's going to talk about, because truth be told, I don't know what I'm going to talk about when I hear the beats, and that's the beautiful part. It reveals itself. Then um what a private conversation me and Kiza set had, he was talking about his beat production, and he can go very left himself. And so I guess what he appreciated about me was just me figuring out the way to make songs out of them. And the same for him, as far as just presenting me something that's not the usual type of production that you hear today, which I don't feel like into, which I can do as well. But like, it's always good to always kind of just go another route that's unexpected, and being experimental as well, because every time a song is created, I don't really listen to it right after unless there's a reason to. Like today, I was in the mind, I was listening to the whole dry spot. I haven't even listened to it since then, even when I sent you the records, I kind of remember what they sounded like, but I already had the, everything already organized, and I just, sent it to you and stuff. Then I said, you know what, today, let me listen to it just to get in the realm of it, just in case if you ask anything, maybe I answer it a little more concise. But and I do that only because it's on to the next song, because you gotta keep it going. And then it's always interesting to sit back and listen to as far as like, wow, because now it feels like you're rediscovering the world that you created that you sometimes you didn't remember about that. Oh, I didn't remember I even said it like that. Oh, okay, so and then, these are just some of the things I was saying as I was on my way, towards our interview. So the good thing about it is it's always on the person that wants to like portray a particular thing, and there's many reasons however they go about it. So with me, because this is the debut, and you know how previously mentioned earlier about the trajectory, I feel like things are going for a good start on that aspect. Um, I would say like if there's an aspiring, person also wants to walk the journey. It's more than just a decision though, because that's what it is. It's actually a journey because um, you gotta kind of like inscribe it in your very being to know that you have to do it amongst all the highs and lows. So uh, for all that to happen and for me to successfully so far drop this project and so far and so on, there's that as far as knowing the journey is not just what I mean, looking at it from an external aspect and getting props and stuff is like, well, there's still certain mental conditioning that you gotta have. Got to be mentally in a certain space, um, because it's kind of like being in a boxing match, I guess. And if you haven't developed a stance that can get you through any millisecond of to where it may look alarming to where it's like, I need to figure something out, then that's where you gonna try to probably face yourself with, you know what I mean, the diversity part of, oh man, maybe this isn't for me, or maybe this isn't for everybody. But so that's what I say. It goes back to the person. So uh, now, and it also depends on what I'm looking for, what a person may be looking for if they was being an artist, stuff like that. So what I was looking for so far is there. And everybody naturally looks for growth. So, and I'm just being mindful of how I'm gonna go about that.
Not here to dispute irrefutable vibes. Lethality, silly wielder. Gonna be fucked up this week and disregard that last statement.
Well, I love it regardless. So it definitely did enough for me to say that. And nothing is perfect, and everything has preferences. But the fact that it was able to have the impact that it does definitely speak volumes. One thing though, I do hope though it doesn't lose the main thing that kept it, which was the originality and stuff like that. That's the only thing I'm looking at that's kind of like, oh man, I hope not. But besides that, I'm absolutely satisfied with it. I would say yeah, because I guess, and I mean it this would be like a strategic way for me to promote the Dry Spell Gospel album because it actually did drop too. So I guess if anybody's listening to this interview, they will know that it came out. So I might as well just say that too. But besides that, so I guess when you listen to Dry Spell Gospel, so the reason why there's 28 songs on there I didn't know how many songs would be on that project, but because Kiza would be, I forgot what song started the. No, you know what? It was God Said that started the trajectory of it, and then Kiza had sent. I forgot how many more packs was sent, but he was also in the adrenaline aspect too, or just in the creative spot too, you know, and so. And there was actually more that didn't make it, but it was just too much on it. We didn't want to do too much like that. But so as far as that with that it was one of those things where once it hit the 28, I was like, I think this, because like they're shorter songs, like the concept came about where he want to make videos for each song, like the videos we have him. So I was like, oh yeah, we can definitely do that. So then that's when you get to momentum mode where it's like we just start knocking songs out. That's when it was happening, just like back to back. So many songs being created. Yeah, so pretty much. So they hone the gatekeeping to what realm a person is going to enter. They're listening, they're seeing, or whatever, right? So that's their responsibility for that. So you're presenting something that on the psychology of it, it's either going to be something that is going to either sit well with a person or not. But that doesn't mean that was a good thing or a bad thing. It's just something to where, and this is what I aim for, right? Because I know there's no artist that exists to where you're gonna have everybody that loves every song you make. That's not gonna happen, because I don't love every song that even artists that I like make. So the best thing to do is to know that the one thing that's irrefutable is if when people are listening, the one thing they can't deny is if they haven't heard nothing like that before, or if it was different. So it will weigh more on the conscious. So you have to be somebody who has the ability to, you found a frequency that there's a mystique about it, right? Of course it got, turned into something that is more so that has like a marketability and, every business term you can think of. But that's not what I got from it. So I just try to like always try to hold on to that. And you said this, the second part of the question was, what does the art mean?
What place does art holds in you?
Okay.
How important is art in life? For you.
How important is it? Well, truth be told, is everything to me technically, because it has certain foundational mechanical aspects of it that allows you to use it in so many ways, which can be used as therapy, and it is safer to do that if it can help in any way compared to doing something that, because a lot of people cope to deal with man in certain different ways. So if it can get a person out of trouble or anything like that, and all they gotta do is bear their testimony in a whole different way, it's better than just a person honing the energy in but doing something that'll backfire, right? So it allows you to narrate your reality, and then finally just kind of like you leaving behind frequencies that can play a part in, like, someone's witnessing to something. So it's so many songs on there that I do like. There's 28 songs on there, so it's hard to say which one's my favorite. But I'll say Rig Utopia. The reason why Rig Utopia stands out because um it has like a and it's part of a trilogy series within the project. Rig Utopia, Dystopian Votes, and the Tropian Witness. Tropia Witness, yeah. So those three. And that idea just randomly happened after Dystopian Votes was created. And this is way after. And I was like, I might as well just go for three. So then the Tropia Witness is just all three have different meanings to it. So in the Tropia Witness, witness is somebody that observes and sees, experiences something. And Notropia, that's just more of like the ideal of what it'd be like. Notropia, some would say, is what this is now. It's just you're more in control of it. While dystopian votes, votes is just like being elected. Um, and conspiracy theorists say selected. So that's even mentioned in the lyrics. I'm talking about specific conspiracy theories, but and dystopia just means times that is disagreeable to anybody that wants to. That's what the opposite of that is. You have dystopia, and then rig utopia. So rig utopia is just rig. You would think mean bad, but it's just it was that song was just you're in such a magnetized raised heart chakra realm, I guess, that it almost feels as like it got rigged to the point where it's just like it can't be that peaceful, but it is. So it was just three different aspects of what a person can go through. Let me see what else. What else is on the project that I did like that stood out? Um, okay, I definitely did like. Let me see. I definitely did like Thunderclap. Simply because out of all the songs, it's the one. It's literally the one that I can see a visual for. But that's on our combo. And I'm trying to see if there's anything else that had like a particular standout to it. And 1991, which was the year I was born. So I just felt like it made sense to kind of like throw one of those little, biography type of timestamps in there, you know. And I think that chorus came about in a freestyle too. Some choruses are made last, like that's on the combo as far as what is created first and stuff like that. So that's the only reason I remember that. So these are just ones, I'm just running through because I guess I like them all for different reasons, but these are the ones I can just remember because they have certain highlighted moments or certain reasons, but I can kind of just like see it already if I was just think of songs off the top. So yeah. So this world, to answer that, abstract lore came about as a psychic development of a psychic defensive development from I guess just certain things that happen in life, stuff like that. And it's just the methodology on how you think, on how can you convert, whatever the series of things that you're thinking of, how can you flip it? So it's like a paradoxical effect of like, whatever those series of thoughts that I was having, just to create it kind of like a not a superhero, but some sort of like figurine or some sort of like, entity. You can say superhero, so I guess, but something that got characterized in order to like uphold, within this some reality. And where I draw my inspiration from, so many places. but I would say because I write so much, it's like they just automatically kind of like just present themselves to me like an algorithm without me looking, because a lot of even with the album, it's just compiled things, testimonies, and just little stories. Like everything I feel counts. Like abstract law just isn't. That's what I said. Isn't just because of the writing. Like all it is just an effect of things and thoughts put together, like Frankenstein. You know what I mean? So yeah. So anything can be broken down into like an invention, I guess. Well, the castle, yes. To answer your question, hopefully, as time goes on and finish projects, hopefully the person who likes the stuff feels that way, like they are in a castle, like they experience that, right? And I'm sorry, what was the oh
Yes.
how do I do
Yeah.
it? Well, I guess my writing conditioning and allows me to create song, and plus I'm always imaginative. Ever since I was young, and I just use it to my advantage to create because I feel like creating is I don't want to sound cocky, but it's like breathing. Like you should be if you're an artist, you should be able to do it. There should be no problem with doing it. Oh man. Well, he's definitely one of the most unique beat makers that I definitely heard. For sure, and I heard a lot of beat makers. He's definitely one of the most unique. And it's so crazy. I hope he don't get mad, but I can't remember how I met him exact. I know, like through social media, but I don't know if it was through somebody through the camp. But I met him and like I said, I can't remember. I would have to ask him what song it is he had heard. But the beat, I still actually have the beat he had sent that I first heard, but I had heard his beat production before me and him even was working, so I already knew what time it was. But once I was able to like have my own, I guess, you know, it always was able to unlock something, right? And it is the debut, so whatever whatever sonics he was able to riddle in there, it was able to unlock doors within my mind as well. So well, yeah, no, so the album did drop today as well as uh this interview. I don't know when this interview is coming out, but today the album's out. And it's on the Worthy to Be Sold channel. And you just look at the playlist, look up songs at ANTIFable. And